You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Archer After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Archer After Show.
Wow there, Internet. We are all baby crazy here in the studio, let me tell you. Hey everyone, you're listening to AfterBuzz TV for Archer, Season 13, the season finale of Season 5.
What?
I can't believe it's gone by so quickly.
So
sad. This one titled Arrival/Departure. Probably a reference to planes and also babies. Coming into the picture, which again has us all very excited. Who is us? Excellent question, Internet, undisembodied voice. I'm Greg Goodness.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I coming out of a coma right now? I'm Roy Harry.
I'm Scott Moore.
I'm Zach Wilson.
Lot to talk about tonight. Lot coming out of this episode. We got babies. We got CIA operations. We got
Cocaine.
Edmund Burke. We got, go ahead.
Cocaine?
We got, well, a severe lack of cocaine. $50 million less
was Pam
of
eating?
cocaine. She was
The
eating...
coca leaf.
Yeah.
She had a little bouquet
So
of
ish,
coca
ish.
leaves.
Yeah.
Exotic furs was also on the menu tonight.
Bishop scores and duelists as well.
Doulas, yeah, really reaching back into the pathos for that. I don't even know where I'm going with that. Guys, this episode saw the introduction of Archer's baby, and not just a baby that we think is Archer's, but is actually, spoiler alert, Cyril's, but Archer's genuine DNA, until proven otherwise, flesh and blood baby, a daughter.
Yep.
This is insane.
I mean,
We were wrong. We were going for boy.
Yeah.
who had in the office poll artificial insemination?
Well, we all knew that it was artificial insemination because Lana was very vocal about that it was some anonymous sperm donor. It was always a question of...
Well, clearly she was lying about that.
yeah, well,
Or at least part of it.
well, it was a sperm donor. It just also happened to be Archer as a sperm donor. That's the missing piece that was all falling in place. And I wish we could give credit to all the people like on the YouTube pages and stuff that gave shouts. They're like, it's definitely Archer's baby. And me sitting in my high ivory towers like, I don't think so. I think that like it's going to be a really complicated sort of thing. Nope, it's just Archer's baby.
Well, it had its own little level of complications, which if we got to see the subtitles, we had the subtitles on, so we could hear what Lana was saying, and it was amazing. It was like, so I
could
broke into
read.
Dr. Feldman's office, and it wasn't maybe the most ethical thing I've ever done. But
Yeah, and it's sort of interesting to figure out where exactly that conversation became inaudible for most people, because based on the subtitle reading that we had, it was that Archer had cancer back in season 3, I want to say was the...
Was it
no,
3,
it
I
was
think?
either 2 or 3 was the
it definitely wasn't
cancer
2.
arc.
Yeah, I think it was.
Then it was 3. And it was mentioned briefly there that Mallory had frozen some of Archer's sperm, which we never picked up on, because I remember that was actually in the episode, is that it was frozen and shipped off.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah, she had mentioned it. And basically what they were saying in the subtitles, or at least what Lana was saying through the subtitles that we could read, was that she remembered that she really wanted a baby, and she remembered that Mallory had said she had frozen some of Archer's sperm. other than all of the issues that Archer has, he's a pretty amazing person. So she broke into the office and stole that sperm.
You forgot 3 words she did say in that sentence. I do love you,
Yes,
Archer.
she did say that.
Oh,
Yeah.
She loved.
This-
yes.
that's right.
Yeah, this whole episode, their interaction together, I loved it. Archer being the father, like fatherly kind of friendly figure buddy, whatever he wanted to go down that route, and then her at the end committing. Oh, I was
I
happy.
love that ending, and I love the whole audio thing with the ringing of the ears, where it was really hard to. I thought that was brilliant.
I was scared though at the
did.
same time. I was afraid Archer was going to become a complete D-bag and be an Archer, and then Lana's not going to want to be with him. This is a whole Rachel and Ross moment for me on Friends.
Oh, that he would
Wanting
like,
them just to be together and just be together.
So you thought he was gonna boogie on out of there?
Yeah, he was gonna say something
skydive
really-
On the
Yeah.
plane, he
Yeah.
just grabs
See you
the
later.
parachute and jumps
Yeah.
for it. Wakes up in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean,
this.
I'm with Cheryl Carroll in that I think babies are gross. So, like, I don't know. That I would like to think that I would be a manly man and own up to my responsibilities, but also a really big part of me would want to jump out of that plane. So I think that, yeah, that's an excellent point that I hadn't even considered. That he could have just gone up and bailed, but he didn't. He seemed genuinely excited about it.
After the whole ringing of the ears and
Yeah.
tuning out thinking he was in a coma thing.
I just come about a coma after 8 months after saving you from drowning, which was a reference to the Sea Tunt two-parter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was like, when was she drowned? Oh, yeah.
And also sort of like a funny throwaway gag to just the idea that this entire season has been so weird.
Which a bunch of people like thought for a little while that this whole thing was just going to be like that flash forward image in the first episode of Archer Vice was just like, we just cut back to that and they're like, oh, we're actually going to keep ISIS open.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, but that would have all been so cool.
Yeah, I have to admit, I would have been really very upset if that's what happened.
Right,
if they
me
went
too.
the coma route, I
Me
would have been
too.
like,
I know, seriously, I would have too, because I just no. That's when you kind of like jump the shark when you try to pull those type of tactics and then come back and keep the show going. So no, I'm glad they didn't do
but
that.
they're better than that.
I don't
It's
know.
great.
Part of me
Much
actually,
better.
I think that would have been a funny because I'm sure Archer would have found a way to do it in like making fun of the fact that it's doing this and then going back to ISIS for another season. Like this was just an event season.
Like Danger Zone. Just keep kind of referencing that.
Yeah.
What's with her name? The daughter's name, Abigine.
Right, Abigine.
What?
I know. I wonder if that means something. We'll find out later.
I don't
Like
think
her
so.
family, or it's like, where would she have come up with that?
Wasn't there an episode earlier this season where they were tossing around names? And I think that was one of the ones that Lana listed off. And Archer had soundly rejected it, but it came back to be named. I could be totally wrong on that, but I seem to be getting some semblance of a name issue coming up.
I don't know. I mean, it's unique and I like it.
Yeah.
That's cool, but it's just
I'm
it's
curious where it came from.
exactly, yeah.
If it means anything. Yeah.
Seamus and Abigine. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna now ship the wee baby Seamus and Abigine 18 years in advance.
That's
Prediction.
Don't do that. Don't go like Twilight on me. Like
He's already left his marking on her.
Yeah.
Whoa! I was no.
That happened in Twilight.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
flash forward to the future.
Right.
They teleport to 30 years from now because Krieger invents some time machine next season.
You're teleporting
and then,
a baby?
No,
they're
we
gonna
go
teleport
into
to
the
the
future,
future.
and then Abigine and the wee baby Seamus are married and have a child that is part Lana, part Archer, part Cyril, and part
Hooker?
New Jersey Hooker.
It's a winning
I actually would
combination.
really like
right?
that
It is.
episode. I hope they do like they go into the future and not a dream. They actually
no,
feel
It'd be
They
like
really
the
do. It'd be
Simpsons
fun.
episode where like Lisa's president and
Yeah.
Bart.
Yeah.
and Maggie's a badass.
Yeah.
Well, quick sidetrack. I just have to say
Sorry.
that the super grim future episodes of The Simpsons are my favorite. So maybe
Super grim episode of future episode of Archer would be great.
Exactly.
Why not?
Just the entire world has fallen apart because ISIS has been meddling for so long, and it's just this one family in like a nuclear fallout shelter. Yeah, I can see that.
Question is, would Mallory still be alive?
Yes.
Mallory will never die.
Yes, of course
With
she
her
will be.
little glass of
Exactly.
martini.
I think
Yes.
she'll be like Krang.
Yes.
She'll just be like in a robot body, like with her head and
Yeah.
brain in the middle.
No, she'll have to be. You know, it's like she'll be pickled from all the martini she drinks, so she'll be the same.
This is all so
Touche.
horrifying to contemplate. So bad. You know, it's funny, though, because we were talking a little bit, Zach, you brought up the point that, like, oh, yeah, it'd be super weird if they would have found a good way to do it, but it would be sort of weird if they just woke up and it was like none of this had ever happened. But we see at the end of this episode, Mallory has successfully negotiated the return of ISIS. They are no longer cocaine runners.
Yeah, it's not an actual coma or dream sequence, but effectively that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about this? ISIS is now back in business. Is this going to be a huge departure from what we've seen of this entire season, or is this going to be same old Archer?
Well, I gotta say, hats off to Mallory for being able to put up this act for the entire season and be fine with it, and in the end know that she was gonna get it. I love the scene when she's talking, like she has a monologue and she's talking and it starts zooming in on her. You just see the power coming back to her, the old Mallory that we used to know. What was your question?
No, I
lost and confused.
No, you bring up a good point that this is a return to form for Mallory because now it's pretty much everyone is back in their place. Cheryl Carroll we'll talk about in a little bit here, but Mallory is back in charge of ISIS. She's in charge of a secret spy organization. We've seen her so powerless the entire
Powerless
season.
or powerful in a way?
You know, that's an even more interesting point is that we've seen Mallory as we've been talking about her
being weak
as weak, and she's relegated to managing Cheryl Carroll for money and putting on this huge act and everything, but it was all just one big cover for the fact that she's running cocaine for the CIA. So she was in power the entire time.
In a weird way, she was. Yeah.
Do you think it was her way of trying to get out of her marriage? A subtle.
That would be interesting if it was like we
I
find
didn't want-
that out.
yeah.
She just didn't want to be married
Yeah.
to Ron
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
Didn't want the divorce from her end. She didn't want
Yeah,
she wanted him
exactly.
to end it.
But like she lost all of her stuff. And like her apartment went to Ron because the CIA took ISIS and everything else.
But she's getting it remodeled thanks to this new
Well,
Yeah.
now, but that was going to be like kind of what you were saying, Zach. Is like I was thinking too. Is there a way that she was kind of thinking, you know, she's in this weak place because what if it didn't work out at the end with the CIA and she, you know, it all went to crap? Like, would she then
Yeah.
seriously be weak? So I think there is a little bit of truth there that she was a little worried, especially those rock bottom episode there where she was, you know, put her in the gym with the day spa. I think she really was legitimately concerned. Like, if this didn't work out, she didn't really necessarily have a plan B per se.
Okay.
Because Pam was eating all the cocaine.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there was a sense that she could have been concerned that it didn't work. Then yeah, she's going to be in a weakened place. So
I mean, back to Greg's original question, what does this mean going forward? I think it's gonna be a little bit of just a return to the norm of like getting ISIS, but like having an overseeing body beyond ISIS gives it a new interesting dynamic.
Okay.
Like there's somebody that they all have to answer to. They're now CIA like contractors.
So then who was it that she called in the prison that one day? Was that
I think that was
Holly?
just a bluff.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was wondering.
she
Think
just
so?
worked out a deal with Holly, and like between the two of them, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I just called a guy."
That's right, because Archer and Lana, they broke out of the prison, their little capture, and then they saw her on the phone, like when they barged in,
but
right?
from the very beginning, wouldn't it have been Holly? Wouldn't the mysterious guy have been Holly from the going way back when from the beginning of the season? Is
Yeah,
that who
that's
we're
what
supposed to
yeah.
assume
Yeah.
now? It's
Yeah,
Holly,
yeah.
right?
I think it was either Holly or just a
Yeah.
complete bluff.
Okay, because I know we were trying to figure that out and
Yeah.
talk about like who's the guy that she was talking to, who's that middle person. You know, some of us thought it was Ron. Like we didn't know who like was behind that whole thing. So now
Part of me was thinking
we're
it might have
assuming
been
it's
Wait, we
Holly.
thought it was
Obama.
Ron?
Well, there was
Who
a chance.
thought it was Ron?
No, we do.
We
I don't
talked
remember
about
who it
this.
was. Now you're trying
know.
to take backtrack. No, we thought there could have been like that. With all
I'll
the
hook
craziness,
you up with a real sweet Cadillac if you let off this terrorist organization.
I think we have to go back and play back all the previous episodes right now, and you will find somebody
No, we
thought
t-
Ron could have been behind it.
We
because
totally
the
did.
Cadillac dealerships and all that.
Part of me
front.
thought it might turn out that like Obama was the one she called.
I don't think we've established a president in this
No,
universe,
I
and
don't
it
think so
certainly
either.
wouldn't be Obama
No.
if it was.
No, it would not be. I
Not for
agree.
any political reason,
No.
but just that
No.
like it's a weird timeline stuck between the 50s and 80s.
In the 80s,
So,
a little more 80s now. Yeah, it was like totally wouldn't be.
But I think it's
good.
going to be fun to see them return to those sort of basic operations that can take them all over the world, as opposed to just Colombian /
fake
cocaine running
Caribbean.
countries.
Yeah, I think it was nice that we got this like season of craziness.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun.
fun.
It took them out of their element, and I do think that even though we're going to go back to normal, there'll be that sense of like, oh, we've learned something now. There's this whole other layer because they had these adventures this season. So yes, we're going back, but it's going back with more knowledge.
And it maybe gave
Them.
Adam Reed and company a chance to build up a new backlog of fun spy stories while they got like these weird things out of the way.
Right. Which, I mean, we've discussed in the past, weren't really all that big of a departure from the world of spying anyways. I mean, they ended up in a fictional country overthrowing a government.
Yes.
So that's very CIA.
Right.
That's very spy material right there.
But it gave them a chance to flex like other storylines that they might have had in mind, like the whole Shirlene thing. They got to release a music album under the Archer banner.
Exactly, and there, new locations and Tunt Manor, and all the other things there they could kind of play with. So yeah,
Right.
it was good,
And
and we were
ra-
all tied up.
Random side note, but I do have to point out that I love that this was all just part of the CIA's bottom budget. Is that
Yes.
they just needed to spend a ton of money
So they can make sure they got more money next year. Yeah, it's like the use it or lose it kind of mentality. It's so funny, like regular office,
Rollover minutes?
budgets.
Yeah, it all comes back to that standard office stuff that
Yeah.
everyone has to deal with.
Exactly,
If
that's-
you
I
don't
love that.
spend the money this year.
You're gonna lose it.
Yeah, whether you buy potted plants
Yep.
for the office to pad out the budget, or you just overthrow a democratically elected leader. Like, whatever, it's all the same thing.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter who.
Exactly. And I also love the fact that they're just, he's just calling up, whoever that lady was, like, okay, let's, start the operation here.
Yeah, full
It's
boots
like, all
on
right,
the
honey.
ground.
You
Standard.
got them ready to go?
Yeah, like ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
Which I did look up the Operation, what was it? Operation...
Drop kick.
Kick.
Yep, and it's 1964 movie Doctor Strangelove. They refer to that as well. I don't know if that's the exact same thing,
Oh, that would be a good one there.
That was a
bring
deep
it back
one.
that was.
but just saying.
Very dope.
Yeah,
And
bring
I
it back
think that
to-
there were some other references. Zach, you looked up one of them, correct?
Well, Krieger, when Mallory refers to, and this is something we've talked about,
Yes.
a lot, so I was
Like
very
a
interested.
bunch of
is
times.
She's like, "Oh, says the clone of Adolf Hitler," and he is no Edmund Burke. Doesn't matter who.
What I'm trying to figure out, though, and this shows my ignorance of U.S. political history, but I think that might have been, or maybe not even just U.S. history, but I think he might have been referencing the quote that he used, that evil prevails when good men do nothing. I think that's what he was referring to. Not that he's a clone of that person, but that's what that quote was.
Was
from.
that Scott? You were the one that actually looked up Edmund Burke.
I looked him up. I
at length.
didn't get the quote, but so you're saying that he wasn't
The
a clone of him then?
No,
He's
he was
implying that
he
he's-
was saying, because right before he said
Yeah.
that, before Mallory said, says that he used a very famous quote,
Right.
which is that evil prevails when good men do nothing, or something to that effect. And I could be very much misattributing this quote, but I think it may be.
You keep going, Greg. I'm looking it up.
He's going to look it up right now. So
Okay.
breaking news. But yeah,
Yeah.
he was an Irish politician, I believe, and that he was the father of modern conservatism.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
interesting.
could definitely be.
Yeah, I mean that could very well make sense to
Yeah.
go along with this politician.
Yeah, and also referencing A Day No Pigs Would Die by Robert Newton Beck, but I could be.
You are correct, Greg. That
Yes!
was a
Yes.
quote from Edmund
Jeopardy
Burke.
here.
I think we can still, and I think that we can use this as potentially confirmation that Krieger. Can we just sit for a moment and look at this dance that Greg is doing?
If you're
my
listening
victory
to this on
dance.
iTunes, you gotta
You're missing
look it out.
a lot.
Yeah, look it up
Look
on
up.
YouTube. So,
It's all Greg has,
good.
everybody. So that's why I have to dance there.
I guess we'll get into this in a little bit when we talk about Krieger, but I guess this is confirmation that Krieger is a clone of Hitler.
Pretty much.
Mallory's basically like, he's a clone of Hitler.
And Krieger does not disagree. So, you know what? That's good enough for us. He is an
Right.
exact genetic duplicate of Adolf Hitler. Fine, we've settled that.
But which one?
Yeah, is he a clone of a clone, or is he
Right.
the original Krieger? We still don't know.
We don't know.
I like that they still played with that idea of the like you don't know if it's really him. You don't. And
Yeah. What do you call
I
him?
like that.
Roy?
Right. Yeah, Roy. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter who.
Yeah, that was great.
Hey guys, if you've been watching me on YouTube, seeing my little dance, then you're watching me on YouTube. But, as Zach pointed out, some of you like to listen on a little program titled iTunes. And if you like to do that, you can go in, you can rate, you can comment, you can tell us what you think of the program, because we sure do appreciate it. There's some crazy algorithm I will never fully understand. Keeps the lights on in here. And we do have to give shout outs to Soccer Jules, who gave us a very nice rating and said that came across the podcast with some others and fell in love. And you guys and gal are hilarious. Oh, well, that's awful sweet.
Gee willikers.
And then Sam470 says basically just that Sam loves seeing the after show with Archer, and he likes to hear us geeking out. He or she likes to hear us geeking out after the show. So thank you. And you can also go in and you can watch on YouTube. That's the thing that you can do if you want to see our smiling, beautiful faces. Obviously you want to, of course. Big shout out to David Carter, who left a comment on the YouTube page. Basically sent us a link. The access code that Krieger uses in the last episode to arm the bomb is actually, again, big props to David for sending us this link, actually the Konami code. When you translate it, it goes up, down, left, right, Konami code. So, a little interesting tidbit there.
like a special move.
Down, left, right,
It's a pretty amazing thing to
Finish him.
That is a pretty amazing thing that they went to that detail.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I love that. That's why I love the show so much.
They didn't. It wasn't just like you. It was like a bunch of letters that put through like a specific type of code translated into UUDD to the point where it was the most famous cheat code ever created.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, love it.
Sam Basie is going to be working on the Archer Star Wars fan art, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Saviu fan says basically that he thinks that Krieger is the exact genetic clone of Adolf Hitler, so you were right on that.
Yeah.
And we also got to give a shout out Daphne Holmes, just saying that she likes us, and Daphne, we sure do appreciate that.
And we like you, Daphne.
Yeah, so we won't get to give you a shout out next week because there is no next week. But again, guys, go in, rate, comment. It will also bring us back for another season, possibly.
Yeah, and if you're on YouTube, just open up your iTunes page and just search and just rate us that way too. That works as well.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just put it out there.
No problem,
Take it.
everybody.
Season 6 will be here before you know it.
I hope so.
We
So
can't
excited.
wait because we got a lot of unanswered questions about just basically everything. We
Really?
were-
Unanswered? Because we got a lot of answers this
Well, we
episode.
than I
still
thought.
don't know if Krieger is a actual clone or not.
Well, he's a clone. It's just which.
Well, if
But is it
he
the actual Krieger or is it the clone of him or all that
Yes.
is
crazy?
it a doppelkrieger?
Yeah, it's a doppelkrieger clone.
Is he one of the products of the clone bone? Basically. We also got to see Krieger sort of save the day in this episode, which was
Krieger.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Krieger, quote unquote, maybe Krieger, strapping a chemical warhead to the top of an old-timey, like, Model T gangster car.
Loved it.
Is it-
Model T gangster car.
After they're just like carrying it down the road.
Yeah, that was great.
Is it bad that when Mallory and all them were stopping the car that I was really hoping it was Shane, the cat? I was really hoping that they almost
Shane.
stopped.
Yeah.
And the cat was
they
just going to
almost-
join them. Like,
want
in
Shane.
the dictator's head or something was going to
Yeah.
appear. I don't know.
That would have been graphic.
I know, but it's Shane. It's okay if
She
Shane
wants
does
Shane
it.
to make a return.
Well, presumably Shane is fine.
Shane's totally fine.
So,
Shane is Shane.
Although I am going to put this out there. Usually, after eating a human, an animal will die. Because we have so much, like, crud in our bodies that is not
Did you
natural
lose
to a...
dog a weird way?
No. And also, how does that tie into me losing a dog?
Because they die
You
after.
fed
Yeah.
dog some, I don't know.
It's not important that you might have killed somebody or
know.
fed it a human.
No, but usually, like, if you get eaten by a bear or a polar bear or something, the animal will subsequently die.
Karma.
Because they just have so much... No, because our bodies are so
Disgusting.
messed up. So not
don't
to
eat
ruin,
organic.
Disgusting.
Not to ruin your theory, but Shane is probably dead.
Aww. And also, don't be a
sorry.
cannibal, apparently.
Sorry, internet.
Doesn't work.
Sorry.
We saw a tiger, but it died.
See, and here I was going to be all positive things. Shane can make a return next
You know what?
year.
Shane's not dead yet.
Shane could
Right.
totally come
They
back.
could come back with the Krieger clones. They could make their escape out of San Marcos. They could be in New York.
All right. So we'll probably see more of Krieger next season. Regardless
Which-
if it's the actual Krieger or a clone, probably more prominent.
So many ways to see Krieger. Can I also plug for a
Yes.
second, as discussed last week with Lucky Yates when he was on this fabulous program, we talked a little bit about how he pitched a Krieger comic book to Marvel when he visited them. So we joked about making a petition. I took it seriously. And now we need you, America. You can make real change happen by logging on to change.org and signing the petition to have FX and Marvel make a comic book series where Krieger journeys around the Marvel Universe in his van.
And it's a beautiful
it.
petition.
Yes.
We have a
was.
total of
Did a great job.
7 people signed up.
You don't tell them the
Backing it.
number.
My
Wow.
mom signed. Did you see that? She signed
Did-
it too.
Good. Great. So we have us and your mom on board.
Damn right.
But you can help make it a reality. No, because if we get all the people that listen to this to sign that petition, we really could potentially
We'll have 8
influence
people.
You jerk.
But if we get enough, we actually could send it over. So
Yeah.
I'm seriously asking.
Yes.
Sign the go sign the petition. I'll put the links on last week's video. I'll put it on this one as well, so you can go on. It'll be on our Twitter feeds. And you can see maybe we can make that a reality, because
Yeah.
I would love to read that.
Be a part of
Yes.
history, guys.
That's right. Be part of change.
Change.
You
Change.
change.
And with change, I do want to bring up one last issue here, which I'm still in the dark, and maybe you guys can shed some light on it for me. Cheryl Carroll, is she still going to be a country music star next
No.
season?
I think yes.
I don't think so either. But
She has that little
see,
jetpack.
we always team up
Yes,
together, Roy,
yeah.
and then we end up being wrong.
I know. Well, I just, because you made that comment, so all
Yeah.
I have to do is believe in myself.
exactly.
And then she got disgusted by that, so I don't think she's going to use it. And then be like, no.
Yeah, I
and they
don't
sell that
either.
money.
Right,
Too.
and especially because she's
Freaking filthy
going
rich.
back to ISIS, and so I don't think she will be either.
I think maybe it won't be as big of a plot line, but I don't think it's going away by any means.
It'll come back for sure.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see her touring or getting fans coming up to her or something. I firmly believe
Refugees
we will.
from
Yeah.
Yeah.
San Marcos,
Lawnmowers or
Yeah.
gardeners left.
all the gardeners.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
think we've
floating
seen the
over
last.
on rafts of her album. Yeah,
Yeah, made out of her album.
I hope so.
I would totally believe that is
Yeah.
coming.
No, I definitely agree with you there that there will be some part of that, but as far as her actually pursuing it, I don't
Yeah.
see that as much. In the
But
new
do you
season.
think that the Krieger was actually a banana sticker, or it was the chip, and that's evidence that this is one of the clones?
Now, remind me, this chip, where did it come from again?
It was the one that was in Archer's head.
That's what, okay, because I was
Yeah.
rewatching the seasons and I'm like, that chip, wait a second. And I had a moment,
Yeah.
you guys, a moment. And then I lost
It was
it.
deep.
Yes. I woke up from my coma.
I am in the dark. I honestly have no idea. I wish that I think it honestly is the sticker that they pulled off the back of a Lego man. That makes sense.
It does.
To
in
me.
their
Or
world.
if it's a clone, he doesn't know and he just said
he
something.
just made it up. Right?
That's
So
what
it
I'm
just adds
thinking.
more to the confusion.
But then
don't
how
know.
would a clone know to say that? If I were
He's
a
Krieger.
clone,
He's intelligent.
I
Yeah.
guess so. But I would just say, "Oh yeah, that thing that I did," and then you would just leave it at that.
Well, I think he wants to fit into this group because all of his group is dead.
Maybe,
His
and I'm
vampires.
just thinking out loud here. Maybe
Just
the
spitballing.
the Doppelkriegers are actually information vampires, and they latched onto original Krieger, sucked out his memories, and now can recall them as needed.
So you guys sign his petition. Do it. Magic
And
can
then
happen.
you can be one of the writers on it.
You are a madman. You are absolutely insane, and I love it.
I hear that on a regular basis.
Speaking of all that spooky stuff that you're describing, I think it's time we hear that spooky theremin music, don't you guys?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Guys, it's the season finale. But we have 2 more seasons guaranteed in the bag.
Yeah,
right.
Those are
Which is
locked and
awesome. It's
loaded.
great to know because
26 more episodes.
yeah, I mean, it also gives them like a certain amount of creative leeway to just do what they will next season.
Yeah,
which is
you're not
great.
constantly teetering on the verge of, are we going to
pressure.
get canceled or something?
Right.
Do
no
you
pressure.
think these next 2 seasons will be its last? I feel like I've asked this question before. I just had deja vu asking that.
And we said no earlier because you think of animated shows like The Simpsons and other things and go on indefinitely forever
That's
and ever
right.
and ever.
We did talk
Yes.
about this.
And
And
we
it
can.
was you that answered
Yes,
too.
because basically, yes. Because that's the great thing about being animated. You can go on forever and nobody has to age and wants to do anything different. And yeah.
All right, Roy,
Yeah.
other than that, any
Yeah.
major predictions
I do.
for next
I
season?
wrote it down, guys,
Good.
in a slanted way. Wasted a big giant piece of paper.
You wasted so
So
much.
I think it's gonna pick up the next season in the future. I don't like it's gonna be maybe a few years after Lana's had her baby. It's not gonna be right away. And I think Archer and Lana are gonna be together, but they're gonna be on thin ice. And of course, we're not gonna see them officially together in love, because they're Ross and Rachel basically. And Pam is still gonna be the Cookie Monster, but more subtle. And I think Cheryl will be an agent with Pam. They will be a team.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Like a terrible, terrible buddy cop movie.
Yeah, because Lana is going to be a mom. She's not going to want to go out on the field just in case. So she might be taking over Mallory's spot. And Mallory might create her own little.
She's a coke addict, and she's a famous country singer. Together, they are coked and singing.
That's
Okay.
my idea.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. See what happens
like
when I
that.
write it down. Oh, and Shane will return.
great.
Oh, of course. Shane will definitely return with the other Krieger clones because they haven't gone anywhere.
They faked it.
They did. They faked it all. They're going to be around. Let's see. What else? Yeah.
Do you think it's going to pick up right
Yes.
when they land, or do you
Yes,
think it's going to pick
I
up?
think it'll pick up where they. Well, I don't know. That's a good question you brought up because in the future, because you could see like they have to get back, they have to get settled, the offices have to be remodeled. So maybe a few months later, but I don't know. It could be real. They could be remodeling the office right now between now and when we go back in January. Okay, so yes, we'll pick up where we left off in January. It'll be in real time, and let's see. Yeah, she's. Gonna
I agree with that. I'm thinking
stay-at-home mom.
real time.
Yeah, real
Ooh.
time stay-at-home mom because I think when she said that she didn't want to work and that she quit, I think she was serious. At least for the time being, I think she'll be out of the that whole
Out of the
stuff.
field?
Yeah, for
Okay.
the time being, she will quit.
She'll be
And
like
then she'll get bored.
begging Archer for details
Yeah.
about his mission ops or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're
'cause-
kind of opposite with me.
But she'll be bored, so she'll want to get back in. So yeah, she'll be asking Archer for details and all that craziness. And then the 2 Air Force guys will finally reveal what the Tapas discussion was all about because they're going to be back.
That was a ridiculous storyline. This just the most bland, boring conversation about Spanish appetizer dishes.
Who are you having tapas with?
Uncle?
Drop
Family friend?
Yeah.
Zach.
I'm gonna say that we're gonna pick up like basically in real
Yeah.
time, like just a couple, just the offices who opened up. They're getting just back into it.
Right.
I think Lana is going to have moved in to Archer's apartment.
Oh wow.
So it'll be Lana, Archer, and Woodhouse, 2.5 men.
Ooh. Let's
Wait.
well.
There, I thought I had a joke there, and I realized it was not at all.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and predict something a little bit different. I predict like a Taken situation where Lana and the baby get kidnapped, and then Archer has to devote the ISIS resources to getting them back.
And Shane helps.
Art, do you think? I
Shane
mean,
is so dead.
do you think that's just going to happen once? Because I was kind of thinking that was going to happen at least 2 or 3 times over the
I
next
think that's
season.
like the arc of the season is
Oh.
like getting them back and like getting out of a remote location and like establishing their way back home.
I just pictured it as like a constant, like, oh, the baby got kidnapped again.
What are we
running
gonna
joke.
do tonight?
Yeah.
Right?
I got a question for you guys. So since we're going back to ISIS, do you think someone's going to be the new, what's his name? Ray, not Ray, the guy that kept getting shot all the time and then he finally died.
Oh, Bunsen?
Bunsen, yeah. Do you think there's going to be a new one?
Brett Bunsen?
Brett, there we go.
No, I think Brett's coming back, or it's like Brett's cousin gets a job.
His
That'd be
identical
great.
twin.
Damn it, Rhett.
All right, guys.
Pam will be back
also-
to normal too.
I think in not this next season, but the season after, Chosen Archer crossover.
Okay. That's very interesting.
very, very
I'd be
interesting.
interested to see it and how
Calling
that would
it
play
now.
out. All right.
I'm gonna say Pam was in rehab over the interim too, so she
That's
comes
good.
back and she's gonna be her normal. She's gonna be back to her old self.
I believe that too. She has some time on the Poovy farm to sort
Yeah.
of dry out.
I don't know.
she's
Mallory
dry out.
promised her cocaine and a
She
pony,
did,
so
I think she's gonna get off the. She's
Cocaine
gonna get
pony.
off it. Yeah, the cocaine pony.
All right, guys. We've been running way too
Coney.
long here. You all in internet
But there's
land
so
have
many
plenty-
Cookie Monster
There
jokes
are.
to make, Greg.
You
So
in
little
internet,
time.
You in internet land have plenty to process. There's a lot to go over for this episode. Probably need to watch it again. I don't know. If I were you, that's what I'd be doing. But anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in all this season, both to the show, our show, and to Archer. We always do appreciate it. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the likes, everything. You guys, we really do have some great, great listeners out there. Just one more time, going around the horn. If you want to find us, Roya, where can they find you?
well, I'll be hanging out with Shane because he's not dead.
He's
or you
dead.
can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HeyRoya. That's HeyRoya. And I'm also on the Saturday Night Live after show as well. So check that out.
Yeah, and you can find me having tapas with the Air Force pilots, because why wouldn't I? You can also find me on the old Twitter, SMAN80, SMAN80, here for the Cosmos After Show, and then later on the summer, here for AfterBuzz, Defiance, and let's see what else, Orange is the New Black, and the final season of True Blood, so catch all that this summer.
And I'm Zach Wilson. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all the places at Zach Wilson, ThatZachWilson, and also here at AfterBuzz on Grim and Resurrection.
I'm Greg Goodness. You can find me on the Twitters at Greg Goodness. That about does it for us here at AfterBuzz for Archer. Again, thank you all so much for listening. It's been a blast.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.